Scott, we have always, at least in the media, not only marveled at Connor's ability, and I'm talking about Connor Hellebuck, not Kyle Connor in this case, but also his availability. And so, from that aspect, as a coach, I don't know how long you've known this news for, but was a little bit of a gulp and take a step back moment.
Yeah, obviously he's 10 years. He's been pretty healthy, and this has kind of been nagging on him out here since training camp. It's something that we've kind of known about. He was trying to play through it. It'd be good days, bad days. Just something that timing's right. Get it done now. A lot of schedule ahead of us, so that was really just the thinking. Sat down and talked to him. Obviously, medical staff, everybody, agent. This was the time to do it.
In your long history as a coach, I mean, we see where backups play well as a backup. What is the defining moment for a backup to be able to be ready to take on a starter's role?
Well, I think the big thing is that Combs has been here, a couple of times, especially the last 2 years for me. Just the confidence that our group has with him and playing in goal, and we didn't give him the run support last year. We're doing a little better job of that this year when he's been in there, and we're extremely confident. You're not going to replace Connor Hellebuck. He's a Hart Trophy winner, obviously the Vezina, but at the end of the day, our team game, which has steadily gotten better in the last 5 or 6 games, has helped us as a group to drop our D-zone analytics, so to speak, have greatly improved, and we need to continue to do that. And and that's in front of whether that's in front of Helly or that's in front of Combs. But at the end of the day, now it's we got to make sure that we do the right things and continue to do the right things, and not only for ourselves as a team game, but it's also to make sure that that Combs is being comfortable in there and not getting overworked.
Scott, going back to Wednesday, what's it like to know your captain re-upped for 5 years after this one?
Yeah, really excited about that. Obviously, some talks have been going on here for a little while here, since maybe training camp, a little bit before that. But at the end of the day, to get it done, it's great for me as a coach. The one thing about Adam, he's sort of he won't ever want to hear me say an extension of the coaching staff, but it's great to have a leader like him, like Scheif, like J-Mo, is that when you're not in the room, they're sort of, we're talking the same language. We're demanding the sort of same things from our group. And Adam's been both on and off the ice. He's he's taken a lot of pride in being the captain of the Winnipeg Jets, and with his play, with his leadership, with his community work, just everything he does. He's such a caring person, and he certainly helped us in a lot of areas with that leadership.
What does it say about what you're trying to build, the program you built, that that's another guy who wants to be a lifetime Jet?
Yeah, we obviously we talk about free agents and trying to get people to come here, but at the end of the day, when we have this many drafted guys, even some guys that we've traded for, and Vladdy and Al and Nino, and those guys re-signing, it's a great sign, and that they enjoy their time here, they like the team, they know that we have a good hockey club, and to see another guy, especially going back and being part of that draft group that started with Scheif and worked its way forward, to see those guys to wanting to finish their career here, it's really good for the organization, great for us as a hockey team, helps us to continue to be constant and consistent and just to move forward.
Going back to that draft, I mean, the franchise announced its name, the Jets, when Mark Scheifele was drafted, and their very next pick in the 3rd round was Adam Lowry, who grows up to be the captain. How much do you guys talk about the franchise lore as a coaching staff, as a management group, just to appreciate those things?
Yeah, I mean, that's the part for me that in the market that we're in, like I said about the free agency side of things, you have to build your team within, and that comes through draft picks. Maybe it's the odd time, it's trades here and there, but at the end of the day, when you can have the number of guys that we have on that list that have re-signed back here and have wanted to finish their career here, it's a tip of the hat to our scouting staff, that the people that do the job to find these guys, but it's also hopefully setting a precedent moving forward for the next crop that's coming. And like we've talked about coming out of training camp this summer, we have some more depth coming now, and so obviously either we can use these guys, recognizing that Casey's here for a long time, Scheif's here, Helly, they're all here for a while, and that next group coming, hopefully we can get them to buy into what we want to do, and they'll be part of the future as well.
Going back to Ellie for a moment. I remember that day in camp. It wasn't the main group he was skating with, but he sort of left the ice abruptly.
Yeah, no, that was upper body. Honest
Yeah.
to goodness, that was an upper body. He got himself. I don't know if he woke up that way, just had a spasm, whatever, and just didn't feel quite right, and just had to get realigned. But no, this is just kind of something that's been. I don't know if it went through the summer. I just know that started to hear about it near the end of training camp, and just started to linger, and just something like I mentioned, we want to get done right now.
Does that make his performance to date this year even more outstanding? Because there's some underlying numbers to suggest he's actually having an even better season than he did last year.
Well, he never surprises me, obviously, what I've been able to watch for the last 4 years. But I think there's a lot of players that are injured, the guys that are, play through stuff, and he's no different. He wants to be out there all the time, and I think that he was hoping that maybe this would be something that would kind of play itself out and maybe not be as uncomfortable as it became, and that's kind of what it became, uncomfortable in practices, and then that started to carry over. So, the timing was right.
So when you have a Connor Hellebuck, the number 2 doesn't get talked about as much because Connor obviously plays so much, and we rarely talk about the number 3 guy in the organization other than being the starter for the Moose. But all of a sudden, Thomas Milic is up here. I know you saw his performance last night. Yeah. You've got some back-to-backs coming up. I mean, how much can you lean on Eric, and how much are you going to potentially have to throw him into the fire?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking 4 to 6 weeks, so I'm not sure, but I don't think Eric can go all those games. So, they're going to have to. He's going to have to play, and I don't know how we're going to lay the schedule out. And it gets busy It gets real busy once we head out on the road. He's going to have to play, and that's part of it. We've said it. I know it's different with goaltending, but at the end of the day, it's next man up. It really is, and we're not replacing Connor. But at the end of the day, our group has to be real good in front of Combs, and he's going to have to be really good in front of Milic as well. It's part of what kind of comes. Hopefully that he goes out and helps us win hockey games.
Just an update on Hayden Fleury. I know he didn't skate Wednesday.
Yeah.
Did he skate on his own today?
No, a little bit of setback. No, not yet. He'll be back. I think he's going back on the ice tomorrow.
Facing Nikolai Ehlers for the first time, what's it like having to game plan against him?
Yeah, well, obviously the speed. Got to make sure we keep him in front of us, but pretty popular. I know the guys went out to dinner with him last night, and a pretty popular player here in town with the fans and his teammates, and you're happy for him, happy that that's his decision to make, and it's too bad that he's not here. But at the end of the day, I love my time with Nick. He's a fun guy to be around, and we'll just have to make sure we recognize where he is all the time, because we know that there's some speed out there.
To know just how your relationship with Adam Lowry has evolved since you joined the organization.
Yeah, I can't say enough how much he's helped me. Obviously the first few years getting to know him and working with him, but especially last year as my first year as a head coach. And like I said earlier, the passing on the message and continuing the message. We can't always be in the room. We can't always be around the group, and there's times when he knows that it's, we've had the conversations where I got this one tonight, Arnie, or it might be a team meeting that they're going to have, or he will talk about, and with Scheif and JMO, we'll often talk about the schedule itself. How, are we going to practice? Are we going to travel? Or how are we going to handle different things? And Lau's been good. I mean, obviously he's been around hockey his whole life, and he helps me. He helps our coaching staff. He can be very emotional, but he also can be very calm. He can recognize, when our group is, needs take a deep breath, and the leadership side of him has grown. I think that sometimes you get the pressure of being a captain. You think you have to do too much, but the best part, he's gone out and he's led first on the ice with his play, and then obviously the off the ice stuff has really been tremendous.
Back to Connor Hellebuck for a moment here. When you guys were discussing the plan for this, was there any consideration on the timing in terms of him wanting to be ready for the Olympics? Because even with the 6 weeks, he'll still be back beginning of January.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. We talked. Obviously, Olympics are a part of it. It's in there as well. And at the end of the day, we're worried about June. Excuse me. April, May, June. It is. It's a grind. This schedule's a grind. It's going to be a grind, and we didn't really feel there was going to be any time to catch up and get rest between now and even the Olympics. So, us picking this date had more to do that the last week or so, it's been bothering him a lot more, and he come out of games and he's sore after games. Couldn't practice. I don't know if you saw this week, he didn't practice a couple of days, so there was still that, and so it's been kind of building a little bit more. So wasn't going to get any easier for him. And, you know, I know he would love to just keep playing. So it wasn't looking at what was coming down the road, whether that's Olympics or the playoffs. It's getting him healthy for that second half for the big run.
The procedure actually is happening. Do you want to share that?
Tomorrow.
Just one question, Coach. I know you're here to answer it. Thank you. What is there a difficulty in?
I'm not a doctor, but
No,
I
I'm not gonna ask
and
you
I
about
don't
that.
play one on TV
I'm not
either.
gonna ask you
so.
about that. Is there a difficulty maybe with the team maybe being a bit more conservative, considering they know it's not Connor Hellebuck in it? It could be Common, it could be Milicic, and maybe there's a tendency to not be aggressive and go forward like your team likes to do.
No, you know what we talked about this morning. I talked to the group, you know, before we went on the ice. It was just, you know, those that, you know, everybody pretty much knew, but those that didn't know that where we were going with this, and it was going to be announced today, and that he was, you know, going, you know, have the surgery tomorrow, and it's our DNA, our identity of our group has been defending first, and I've said before, you don't win in this league unless you defend, and it doesn't change how we approach whoever's in playing in the goal. Is the fact that when we don't have the puck, go get it, and I've often said that we defend 3 zones. So, I think if we're on the attack side about getting pucks back quickly, we don't get into that sort of sit-back mode. And so hopefully we have the puck a lot more than the opposition does, and it makes whoever the goaltender is, makes it a little bit easier for them.
There's reports out there Brad Lambert's agent has been given permission to seek a trade. Clearly, Logan Stanley was in a similar place not long ago, got on the other side of it, is now, you know, contributing solidly with the team. What's the coaching staff's role in kind of getting younger players to where you want them to be in a win-now environment?
Yeah, you know, he's a good young prospect for us, and we're, you know, until something happens, I still feel he's going to be a Jet. At the end of the day, we're trying, I've said this before about young guys, we're trying to make them 10, 12, 15-year vets. We want them to be a part of it. We're trying to teach them, bring them along as best we feel we can. You know, we obviously have a veteran group right now, and for those 3 guys, they're all disappointed when they went down, and having to tell them the other day, they're all disappointed, and I understand his disappointment. At the end of the day, you know, they have decisions with their agents, whatever, they handle stuff, but for me, you know, I just think that, you know, we'll just let it play itself out. Hopefully he's here and he gets a chance to play for the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, can't really control it when it's kind of gone down that road, but at the end of the day, yeah, no, we think that, like we've mentioned, we've got some good young prospects on the move here, and he's one of those ones that's a little farther than the group that just kind of turned pro this year. So, you know, I just, we'll see how that plays itself out. For me, at the end of the day, with the coaching staff, you know, when they're here, we're going to try to do everything you can to make sure that they stay here.